Hey guys, Angry Beast here, bringing you some domination gameplay on the map firing range, using what, in my opinion, is the worst class in Black Ops. I don't know how many other ways there are to say it, but this is just me dorking around with this really goofy class. All the things in this class have a purpose on their own, but when you mix them all together, it's ridiculous. First, we're going to start with the gun I'm using. Number one, I'm using the Mac 11. Now, overall, this gun has very little use. It does have the lowest recoil of all the submachine guns, which gives it a distinct advantage in a longer range firefight. But in that situation, you're having to take 5 shots to kill with this submachine gun, which only has a 20 round capacity, so it's not the best in that regard. But it does have low recoil and a good high rate of fire, so it does kill quite quickly up close, so that's useful. Now, my attachment in this game is dual wield. This is like, oh, right here, this is just showing how bad this class is. There's this sniper here, and I have to waste a whole 40 rounds to not even come up and knife him. But when you use dual wield, it's most effective on weapons like the Scorpion with a high rate of fire and high damage, and weapons like the Python, which have really high damage and a really high rate of fire, and they can get instant kill. But when you try to throw it on a weapon like the Mac 11, which has really low damage up close, it takes, I believe, 4 bullets to kill at point-blank range. And what you're going to end up happening is you have such a high hip spread. Like, look at how far apart my crosshairs are. And you're going to have such a high hip spread that you're not going to be able to hit anything like that one clip with that sniper showed. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, my secondary in this game, I think, is the crossbow. I do use that a little bit. I get like 2 or 3 sticks in the game. One of them actually ends up being an assist because the teammate picks him up, douchebag. But, you know, whatever. And my perks in this game are Flak Jacket, Hardened, and Second Chance. Now, Flak Jacket's a very situational perk, and it's useful, don't get me wrong. Flak Jacket is one of those perks that can save you if you're just playing the objective. But the problem is that I'm not going for the objective. I'm going for the most amount of kills I can get in a game. Say what you will, I am kill whoring in this game. There isn't too many other ways around it. I'm just going for kills, not worrying about too much else because, you know, I realize my teammates are doing pretty well on their own, and if our team can hold my own while I'm using a Mac 11 at all, then I think it's okay for me to just go for kills. My second perk, though, is Hardened Pro. This is the worst freaking mistake I could have ever gosh darn made. It is ridiculously bad on the Mac 11. The Mac 11, first off, has 0 penetration power. 0 times 1.5 is 0. Treyarch, what are you thinking? It does nothing on the Mac 11. Sorry for my rant now, but the thing is that Hardened is completely useless on both of these weapons because neither of them can penetrate surfaces. The crossbow, it'll just stick to anything you hit. Oops, stuck that guy. Unfortunately, my teammate gets the kill. It sticks to anything it hits, so you can't get any penetration with that. Oh, this is one of the most ridiculous second chance clips I've seen. But it sticks to him, so there's no penetration. The Mac 11 has no penetration. The only redeeming quality of Hardened is Hardened Pro, which gives me less flinch, which does nothing when I'm hip firing. Treyarch, why? Why is this class even possible? Anyways, my third tier perk is Second Chance. I don't have that pro, and I never will have it pro. I do pick up at least 1 or 2 challenges for Second Chance this game, because that's just how little I use it. I personally think it's a worthless perk, but you'll see in at the very end, there's a ridiculous shot with Second Chance I pull off. And it is useful. I mean, it'll get you kills in situations where you normally would have just died. And I can't recommend it, though. It's very frustrating in the fact that you can get blop shotted in this game, which is where if I'm holding my trigger as I go down in the Second Chance, for whatever reason, Treyarch made it so that if I'm holding my trigger, I keep firing while I'm going down in the Second Chance. Like, that's the most ridiculous piece of crap ever in a video game. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna lie, the only reason this gameplay is somewhat good is because I pick up this Galil. I get like 3 or 4 kills with it, and I do pick up 1 kill streak with it. That's the other thing I'm using in this game. I'm using probably some of the worst danged kill streaks in the game. I believe I'm using the Valkyrie rockets, the B-52, and the gunship. And normally the gunship's pretty good, but considering the fact that everybody in this game runs ghosts and Strellas anymore, it's not very useful. And Valkyrie rockets are just a joke because you have to call them in through a care package, which reduces their effectiveness completely. If they were a stacking kill streak and/or they just pulled out of your pocket, I think they would have been very used, and they're very easy to control. I mean, a lot of people say they're hard to control. It just takes a little bit of practice with it. It's kind of like an RC car that flies. I love them personally, but they are useless pretty much. There's 2 free kills. That's about it. Now, the other thing that I'm using is the B-52, which is Oh my god, don't use the B-52. Unless you're playing Nuketown where you can literally wipe out the entire map. It's a worthless piece of crap kill streak. I mean, you have to get like, is it 8 or 9 kills with for to get a B-52? And that's just ridiculous. I shouldn't have to get that many kills to get a stealth bomber. That literally does nothing. Flak Jacket can completely counter it. And without an SR-71 up, it's impossible to know where the enemy team is, because everybody runs Ghost or Flak Jacket, so that's not a very good kill streak to use. And to top it all off, I'm using the Nova Gas as my equipment, which is just useless. Don't use the Nova Gas. Everybody just runs away from it. It's lost its effectiveness since the first week of the game. But I think I'm done with my rant. The other thing I'm using is C4s and frags. There's not much to say about that. I don't use them really at all. Although, I would say that the Semtex would probably be a little bit better. Maybe the Tomahawk, because you always run out of ammo with the Mac 11. It's just how it works. That's the other thing about the Mac 11 that sucks. It seems like it has such a long reload, because you lose you stop firing so quickly after you start pulling the trigger. It feels like you're reloading half the time and not shooting, which is unfortunate because you have weapons like the FAMAS, which just shoot like for what seems forever with the extended mags, and the little Mac 11 over there is just puny and just doesn't seem to do much. But you know, that's my little rant about this class. I would never recommend this for any reasonable situation. And it just comes down to the fact that certain combinations should just never be used together. This is definitely one of them. But if you're going to have some fun in the game, you just want to mess around and just humiliate people, because this is what this is. This is an absolute humiliation class. If you're getting killed by dual-wielded Mac 11s, you know you're doing something wrong, because there's just no freaking way that these things are anywhere close to competitive, and they really just deserve to be taken out of the game. The Mac 11 dual wield should never have been happened. The only thing that would really make them useful is if they had a really fast reload, like the HS10's dual wield, which is actually something kind of funny. Not a lot of people know. You actually reload all the shells at once when you reload. Oh, nice headshot from the drop shot there. But you reload all your shells at once with the HS10 akimboed, and that's its major advantage over the solo one. It's really quick to reload. You combine that, we get a lot of shots on target really fast. I think that the HS10s akimbo are one of the best shotguns in the game, but I'm going off on a tangent. So that's the only thing I could really think would make these usable, is a faster reload. And the fact that I can't use sleight of hand and steady aim in this game really kills it off as well. It's got that slow reload, but it has terrible hipfire at the same time. And we combine that with a low damage. I think the only way this would be usable is if there was sleight of hand, stopping power, and steady aim all at the same time on this class. Because without it, it's just horrific, man. I think this is like the third or fourth game I was playing with it, and at the end of the second game, man, I was just in pain. It's how bad this class is. Like, oh, am I the only one who does this? Whenever I see a claymore on the ground, I just stop and look at it. I feel like such an idiot when I do it, but it's just something that I do. I just have to stop, down at it, and line up my shot and shoot it. And of course, I get snuck up by the one guy running Ghost in the corner of the map. So yeah, this is a painful class to use. Never, ever think about running this. The only thing that might even come close is a PSG with a silencer and a thermal scope. That might be worse, but it's hard to say because the PSG can at least kill something, whereas this just can't. Oh, this is really funny here because I stopped for a second because I saw the plus 50. I thought I knifed him. It turns out my random crossbolt actually hit something, and that's the one redeeming trait of the crossbow. You fire it and you forget, and sometimes you get something. That's what I was talking about, the ridiculous kill there. Somehow I got a headshot while dropping down there with a blob shot. But the gameplay is winding down, ends up being a 19-12. A lot of shout out to my Galil. The Galil I picked up really helped this gameplay out, and it's unfortunate that I wasn't able to call in my Valkyrie rockets and use them myself. But you know, that's how the cookie crumbles. I'm your Beast, and I'm signing out. I'll catch you guys in my next video.